This is another episode of Standup Comedy, your host and MC, celebrating 40-plus years on the fringe of show business. Stories, interviews, and comedy sets from the famous and not so famous. Here's your host and MC, Scott Edwards.
Hi, and welcome to the podcast Standup Comedy, your host and MC. I have three tremendous comics coming up for you on this show. Later on, from Full House, a guy that helped me get into the business, Bob Saget, sharing some very funny material. Right before him, our feature act is a very funny animated comic by the name of Jerry Miller, who does a fun impression of Jacques Cousteau. Anybody under 60 might know that name. And opening things up in just a couple minutes, Dave Coulier, also from Full House, also a good friend, and also one of the two guys, Dave Coulier and Bob Saget, that helped me get into the business. But before we get into the comedy, I wanted to share something. I have a new book out. You can get it on Amazon. It's called 20 Questions Answered About Being a Stand-Up Comic. That's 20 Questions Answered About Being a Stand-Up Comic. And it has great information if you're interested in getting on stage, being an open micer, trying your hand at stand-up comedy. It's got some great pictures, people like Bob Saget, Dave Coulier, Tom Hanks, and others that have been on my stage, but it's also full of great information. So if you get a chance, go to Amazon and pick up your copy of 20 Questions Answered About Being a Stand-Up Comic. It's short, it's simple, but loads of fun. All right, let's jump into some comedy. Our first act today is somebody you've all seen and heard on TV. He's been on several shows. A very, very funny stand-up comic, Dave Coulier. He is a gentleman that helped me get into business back in the day, but on this particular one, he's doing some great cartoon impressions, and I think you'll really enjoy it. It's high energy, it's funny, so let's hit some comedy. Ladies and gentlemen, my good friend, Dave Coulier.
Used to watch those cartoons. Some of my favorites I used to watch. Now, maybe there were some of your favorites. I used to watch Sherman and Peabody and their Wayback Machine. Remember this show? Had the goofy music in the beginning, kind of went... Little statues of famous people would cruise by. One would fall and break, that little man with a mustache would sweep up. Sherman would come out with those big glasses on and go, "Well, where to today, Mr. Peabody?" I was like, "Well, Sherman, so the Wayback Machine..." Now, I realize there might be some older folks sitting here going, "Hell, I just don't get it. I don't know." We had some great shows. Of course, the Jetsons are back for 42 new episodes, coming back out. And, yeah, they're bringing back the original cast, which I thought was a lot of sincerity on their part, sure. Including all the people who did their voices. The Jetsons were great. They had all the modern-day technology, little family spaceship that they would cruise around in. Meet George Jetson. A little... Wouldn't that noise freak you out if you're walking out of here tonight, all of a sudden, "You guys, the Jetsons!" I am freaking out. Had that great dog walking around their house. Right, roars, roars, roars. I had a lot of heroes on those cartoons. I always like, "And now, Bullwinkle's Corner." Thank you. A little poem. Spider, spider on the wall. Don't you have any brains at all? Don't you see the walls just been plastered? Don't you see that, you little spider? You know, we edited that, right, we edited that. Yeah, I had a lot of favorites on those cartoons. I always liked Popeye. Seemed like every episode of Popeye the Sailor was exactly the same. It was where Popeye and Bluto were fighting over olive oil, and I think we could see why. What a bod, huh? Olive oil always gets in some kind of stupid predicament in the beginning of the show. "Oh, Popeye, oh dear, oh my." "Oh boy, that is your broad's gonna blow."
you watch enough shows, you can understand why this relationship between Popeye and Olive Oyl existed in the first place. I mean, every time he'd see her, it was like, well, blow me down, Olive Oyl. Yeah, I'd laugh just like that, too. Oh, cut it out. Come on. Of course, Popeye and Bluto would start, you know, when they would fight, you'd see that big cloud of dust, right? And then their arms and legs would fly. Popeye's arm would reach out, grab a can of spinach that, of course, just happened to be there, right? Of course, he chugs that stuff down, knocks Bluto for one big solid punch. Whoa, whoa. Those guys were always mumbling stuff under their breath. I listened to one show really close. I swore I heard Bluto mumble, oh, the heck with it, Olive. You got no boobs anyhow. Of course, Popeye knocks Bluto out, and at that time, Popeye wins his beautiful, vivacious-looking queen. You guessed it, Olive Oyl. Yeah, and what a babe, huh? Check her out. Well, don't even call if I'm out with me, Olive, says Popeye the Sailor Man. Thank you very much.
That was Dave Coulier live on stage. He worked for me many times back in the 80s and into the 90s. Very, very funny stand-up comic. I know you enjoyed those impressions and the explanation of Olive Oyl. Tall, skinny, no boobs. Hey, let's do another bit of impressionism. We have Jerry Miller, comic out of Northern California. He's not doing comedy anymore, but he was so funny back in the day and very high energy. You may remember Jacques Cousteau from his underwater adventures. He does a great impression. Let's jump into it. Ladies and gentlemen, Jerry Miller.
That's right, I do come from the wine country. Oh, I got some wine drinkers here. That's great. Right on. You ever been to the wine country? Been wine tasting? You done that? Aren't those guys a pain?
Yeah, this is a Chardonnay. It's got a light bouquet, fresh nose, wonderful legs.
I want to walk up to these guys and go, good grape, dude. Put a head on that bad boy. Seen these wildlife shows? You like these wildlife shows? Like Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom? Yeah, me too. That idiot Marlon Perkins and his sidekick Jungle Jim. Ooh, mental giant Jim was, huh? Here he's getting the dookie kicked at him by a wild anaconda. Marlon's up in a helicopter with a pitcher of mint julep saying, yeah, while Jim plays tag with the king cobra, I'm gonna fly on ahead, mix up another batch of these coconut head butter. Maybe find a wildebeest or two to kick the dookie out of him later. Boy, when you're tied up like Jim, you need Mutual of Omaha. But the all-time greatest wildlife series, you know what this is? The Undersea Adventures of Jacques Cousteau.
Bon capitaine, we have put in a minute sub and all ready to dive.
My devils and I got into the mini sub and dove to the ocean bottom. There we discover many strange and unusual creatures and many different habitat. My son, Jacques, he decided to try his hand at this climactic interlude of the animals we seeked. Lingus mononingus, or more commonly known as the sea turtles, were in a rare and unusual maracala life. They were on the ocean floor, spawning. This is when the male turtle mounted the female turtle and drives her home. Stay tuned next week when my son, Jacques, he shall dive it into the icy waters of the coast of Alaska, where he will attempt to scrape the barnacles of the testicles of a killer whale. This should prove to be a very moving experience for us all. You've been a great crowd. Have a good time tonight, huh?
Oh, man, I love that impression. He's so good at it, and it really got the audience going. All right, it's time for our last comic. I've mentioned it a couple times. He and Dave Coulier helped me get started back in 1980. Bob Saget worked my club many, many times, even after the start of Full House. He and Dave came back for my 10th anniversary in 1990. He was a terrific friend, and he is sorely missed, but his comedy lives on. So let's share it. Ladies and gentlemen, Bob Saget.
Oh, man. I'm so damn happy. What do you want to do now? Let's strip naked and scream. What do you say? Let's go up on the roof and sing Let It Be. Come on, that'll be good. I want to do a cartwheel and fart. Want to do that? Be a fart wheel, I guess. A lot of creativity at work right here. Oh, man, I'm going to go home. My daughter's going to do some weird... because we're traveling, we got this baby intercom. You know what this is? It's two-sided... Oh, the funniest, we got two things. We got a baby mobile that's voice-activated. Somebody gave us this as a gift, which means you put it in the crib, and if the baby cries or makes any kind of sound, a burp or, gas, it'll trigger music. And I think this is kind of weird. What if she's, conditioned, and she's, 30 years old, and she'll go to a concert and thinks that's how you start the band, Wow, this show stinks. Let's get out of here. But the funniest thing is the baby intercom. Do you have one of these, May? They're cool because you can put one part of it. They're cool, really happen. Put part of it in the crib, and the other part you're in another room. Maybe you're slicing and dicing with your Vegematic or something, or playing with your Mr. Microphone, or laminating your butt. But why would someone do that? I don't know. But one, I'm overdosing on my own attitude right now. I'm so obnoxious, I'm annoying me. I used to hate obnoxious people, but I like them because now I am their leader. So part of the baby intercom's in the crib, and the other part is anywhere you want to be. So you're in the den, and you hear, Breaker 19, Dad, I got spit up on my shirt, and I'm packing a load. Please come in and help me. You go in there, she's got her dolls up against the side of the crib, she's frisking them. Like Broderick Crawford for your kid. It's the best thing that ever happened to us. We're going to have hundreds of kids. I want an audience walking around with me all day long. I'm going to call my next kid Gandhi just to put pressure on it. Shave his head and make him loom all day. All right. Gandhi was a better movie than The Blob. I figured that out myself. By the way, Jessica Rabbit is the most beautiful woman in films today. Any guys here watch that movie and start getting excited and going, it's a cartoon, what's wrong with me? And I looked down at my lap, and that was a cartoon too. Really sad, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry, I'm just so happy to be out.
That was Bob Saget live on stage. Man, he always took things a little edgy and always funny, and great interactions with the audience. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's been our stand-up comedy show for this week. It had Dave Coulier, Jerry Miller, and Bob Saget, and we really appreciate you listening to Stand-Up Comedy, your host and MC. Be sure to tell your family and friends, and we'll see you next week for another great show. Bye!
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Stand-Up Comedy, your host and MC. For information on the show, merchandise, and our sponsors, or to send comments to Scott, visit our website at www.standupyourhostandmc.com. Look for more episodes soon and enjoy the world of stand-up comedy. Visit a comedy showroom near you.